my God, what an epic motherfucking movie. And I love these period pieces movies because it always, even though sometimes shit is dramatized, but it's just, once you get the right director, the right writer, and also the right cast, you create magic. And I don't want to spoil anything of this because you guys need to experience this, because this movie is amazing. I don't know if some of you guys, I don't know if Wesley or you, Tiny, have watched this, but it is a must watch.
I don't think so. I think it's gotten recommended to me, but I don't know if it's streaming somewhere or is this something you
on HBO Max.
Oh, okay, sweet. I think it's gotten recommended. I'll check it out, man.
I don't know if you watch it, Wesley.
Yeah, this was actually on my list of recs today as well.
My bad, dude.
No, it's all good. I'm glad we're on the same boat. I watched this it dropped, I want to say last week on HBO Max. It's one of the newer. It was slated to be one of the controversial films to, instead of come to the theaters, coming to HBO. And Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield are two of my favorite contemporary actors, and man, they fucking the chemistry between them throughout this entire film is phenomenal. Right. It's so it's amazing, man, and it's a pretty unique look on the lore of the Black Panther movement.
Yeah. Let's go.
I think it's got a 90 something on Rotten right now, and for good reason. It's a for lack of a better word, revolutionary film to come out at this time, and an important, very, very important story behind it. So, true story, obviously. I can't recommend it enough. Please, everybody out there, if you haven't seen it already, check it out as soon as you can. Judas and the Black Messiah.
And by now, everyone should know those two have the fucking hardest kind of dynamic right now. Like, so subtle but so good, dude. Those two actors right now.
Definitely.
Yeah, we kind of transition. I want to hear. Do you have another one, Wesley?
I do. And this one falls in line with our actual main focus. I wanted to give a shout out to Rude Boy, the story of Trojan Records, the documentary.
Nice.
Which you can actually, if you haven't seen this, Tiny, or anybody out there listening right now, you can watch this right now for free on Tubi, or if you want to, or if you watch it and you love it so much, they're doing pre-orders for the Blu-ray right now on the Trojan Records website. We're doing some fun bundles with a T-shirt and I think a vinyl pressing of the soundtrack, and then the film. Obviously a beautifully crafted film about the beginnings of reggae and ska and bluebeat, and it's everybody who knows me, including Diego, knows that I have a huge soft spot for ska, especially like the rock steady movement. So I loved every bit of this. Check it out, Rude Boy.
All right,
fuck yeah, dude.
Ready to watch that one now, dude.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
All right. So this week we're talking about Rockers. It's from 1978. It's a drama. It runs at 1 hour and 40 minutes. It's got a 86 on Rotten, starring Leroy Wallace, Gregory Isaacs, Burning Spear, Kid Asai, Robbie Shakespeare, Jacob Miller, Big Youth, Richard Hall, and Monica Craig. The film is centered around unemployed drummer Horsemouth, who resides in Kingston, Jamaica, trying to sling records for cash while on his newly bought motorbike. But when his most prized possession is suddenly stolen, he decides to fight back, only he's up against the Jamaican mafia. Rockers, which is deeply rooted in reggae culture and Rastafarianism, is a fascinating late 70s picture that blends music performances with a Robin Hood-esque story that manages to be both lighthearted and rough around the edges. Over its 40 years plus of existence, it has managed to transcend time as it is recognized as one of the most iconic reggae films around today. At the time of the film's release, Rasta culture was nowhere near mainstream and largely unknown by most. Its director, Theodoros Ted Bafalokos, who was himself a Greek immigrant, became fascinated with Jamaican culture while living in Manhattan, and eventually took a trip to Jamaica, where he was initially keen on taking photos and creating a documentary. The documentary would later turn into a full-blown feature film. However, 1975 through 1980 was a very turbulent time for Jamaica due to various political feuds, which actually made filming for Ted a lot harder than he could have ever expected. The director was constantly criticized and accused of being a CIA informant, something that even the great Bob Marley instigated. However, Marley would later express great regret with that decision. The film was made for a micro-budget of $250,000, and when it opened at the Cannes Film Festival, it almost caused a riot due to the sheer volume of people upset that they couldn't get a ticket to any of the sold-out showings. In 2005, a companion coffee table book under the same title was released by Ted Bafalokos and documents everything it took to make the film. This includes some glorious black and white photos that span his time both in New York City and Jamaica. Thank you.
Nice. Now I want to go get that book, dude.
Yeah, man. I liked a lot of things included in the intro that I'll probably explain why I chose the movie. Basically, I chose this because I know, well, the three of us are huge into our ska and pretty cultured, you know, so I chose this, and I thought it would be beautiful to talk about this and during Black History Month, of course. And pretty much the reason for Rockers 1978 was how crazy the culture from reggae to everything pretty much from Jamaica affected like San Diego and California in general and the entire world. I think it's beautiful, and it makes me really miss shows because it was really beautiful to see diversity of crowds when I used to go to festivals, and I love watching this movie. It does remind me of when I went to like Bob Marley festivals and stuff like that, and I think it's honestly beautiful to see diversity, and the music is always spot on, and how it basically affected my fellow Mexicans, you know, like everywhere too down here. Like it's just dope to see like people adopting the culture, and it's so much more commercial now, but it's still beautiful, you know what I mean? Like it's dope that we have that brotherly and sisterly thing with musicians, artists around here, and it reminds me of everything I see in this movie, because Jamaica looks like a fucking island TJ, dude, and I think it's like just beautiful, I think. And the film, like you said, it does the Robin Hood story, which I thought was fucking dope. How it transferred from documentary and to a film was also excellent. I don't know if people wanted to know more about any of these rockers or any of these types of artists, but I think just through the movie enough was able to show what they're about, you know what I mean? And they actually do use their real names, so like I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, this is why I brought it to the podcast. I thought it would be dope to talk about it probably now, because a fellow listener was like, well, you should have chose this movie and that movie. It wasn't an argument or anything, but I kind of had that movie in mind, which was Shatas, which is more gangster, more brutal and stuff, but I wanted to do something more in a positive light, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is why I chose this, and I do have Shatas in mind for a future episode, so if that does come, yeah, to that fellow listener. But yes,
Right.
but yeah, man, what's you guys' takes and thoughts and what you guys feel about the movie and stuff like that? Whoever wants to go for that.
Diego, let's hear your thoughts on this.
I gotta be honest, I was like blown away how fucking fascinating this movie is. I'm not gonna fucking sugarcoat it. I might give you diabetes sometimes, you know, with those sugar coats. But needless to say, I love this movie. This movie in particular, like the sounds. I gotta be super frank. I didn't really follow the story all that much, but I was focusing a lot more on the music, and that's, I think, to me, imagery and music go hand in hand with me. So of course, like the background music was just, I was just blown away. I haven't heard about this movie at all, you know. So, and it was amazing, dude. This is the thing. I love the culture of especially blue beat and reggae and ska, because it speaks to an uprising. And that's why I feel like, for me, in particular, what it means, it's like showing my rebellious youth, my rebellious mind in general. You know, I don't want to go through the norm of what it is to for people to feel normal, for people to gain, you know, for me to gain fame through that way. I want to gain fame through my uniqueness, or if I get fame, then I'm not looking for that shit. But in general, this shit was like super dope, dude. I'm glad that I got to see it, especially experience it with you guys. It's super amazing. Like I said, like I can't really talk about the story, but I can talk about the soundtrack all fucking day long. It's just so fucking amazing. Especially with a lot of Gregory Isaac in here. I'm not sure if I'm right, but a lot of Scatolites were in here as well.
Yes. Yeah. So many hits, dude.
Yeah, so I'm like, it's so much shit that I'm like, oh my god, this is so dope.
Yeah, dude, I mostly chose this because I thought some of the imagery was good, like, for a photographer. It's Jamaica.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, like,
nice, bro.
yeah, dude, like, now that Wesley said about that book, I want to go find that fucking book, dude, because a lot of those, especially the black and white photos, I'm assuming are fucking fire as fuck. I want to go see it. I love books about photography.
Yes. And an island, dude. I think that'd be some really top grade gear, not to get away from the movie, for you. I mean, once COVID's done and everything, visit somewhere like this or anywhere. Jeez.
Oh, dude, I'm going to Japan. I already fucking said it. I'm going to Japan. Mostly because of my pro wrestling thing. But, yeah, I've loved Japan. I want to go to Jamaica, of course, and I want to go to fucking, I want to go to Mexico again.
Yes, that sounds beautiful, man.
Even though I could go, but I'm choosing to wait off because I want to do so much of the badass shit down there.
Yeah. This movie also reminds me of, like, just traveling, dude. Seeing beautiful shit. And
yeah,
different kinds of company and people out there out in the world and shit. You know? So, but yeah. Maybe we get Wes's take now. He's building up.
No, yeah, I loved seeing this. Was my, I believe, second time seeing this, and it was just as effective. Obviously, we're never going to like, they were able to capture a time, you know, in the world somewhere that's never going to happen again. And it was beautifully realized. And even though the story is very skeletal in nature, but I loved how they blended the story within the music performances, where it's not even considered a musical. They just kind of blend seamlessly together, and you don't even question it. And just to see the culture playing out in front of you, you know what I mean, at a pivotal time, arguably, you know, the best time in reggae music, like where it was at its peak almost, is amazing. And especially to think about this,